Hey, what's up guys, and welcome back to the infamous project. Today's video is going to be a little bit different, so probably for those of you who are subscribed and following along, this might interest you a little bit more, or maybe if you're new to the channel and you're interested in a topic such as this one, maybe you'll find it appealing as well, and not so much the cars that surround me here. So one thing that has been bugging me, grinding my gears, just overall like a dark shadow, is online social media presence, following, the hype, and our dependencies on them. Most importantly, for somebody like me who's been trying to build my name and, not only showcase my cars and what it is that I'm doing, but I made that corporate switch and I'm trying to immerse myself into the automotive sector, buying, selling, modifying, flipping, you name it. And I rely heavily on you guys and on social media. And the one thing that I have learned is that you really can't control it. And a lot of us are always talking about the algorithms and all the algorithms change, and how some of our pictures and videos get more likes, they get more comments, and there's lots of documentaries going on about this. There was actually a really good one, and I forget what it was called, but it was essentially they took 3 individuals who were nobodies or everyday normal people, and they tried to make them insta-famous, and it ended up working out really well for the one girl, but I think the biggest reality that we need to be sure of, and the one thing that I've always said, is that I need genuine people, I need genuine content, and those more humble, genuine people are the ones that grab my attention, and I'm sure that is why a lot of you follow me. At least I hope so. I hope I'm doing my job to stay as genuine and as true as I can be to not only my passions, but to me, my personality, my characteristics, and who I am. Whether you see me on camera or you meet me in person, should be the same guy. So with that said, Instagram, let's start off there, because so many people over the years have reached out to me, and I've had shops and pretty large individuals say, I don't understand why you don't have more followers. Now, if you look at my Instagram account right now, I'm sitting just shy, I think, of around 8,500 by the time the video gets released. Maybe I'll be fortunate enough, I'll be somewhere around 9,000. So I've had my account for a long time. For those of you that have been following me, I ran the infamous project a long time ago, way before Instagram ever existed, but I haven't been really, immersed and been posting consistently until a number of years ago. So one thing that I've found super interesting, you guys might find this interesting, you might not care, but I'll tell you why, and I know this firsthand because I've gone through it, why my Instagram following isn't that big. And if you guys don't know, I do have the infamous project, and I also have an account dedicated to this car right here, which is called, at Dutch Coupe. And then I have a dedicated account for this guy here, which is at Dutch Hatch. And I've even started one for at Dutch Vert. So, covering all the different body styles, with the exception, I guess, of a T-top. So what have I learned? I have learned that when I was in Dubai, in the United Arab Emirates, and posting my content, it took me a very long time to get any type of traction or really good following. And the following that I was getting was a result of a lot of people more from the area of the Middle East, and East Asia for that matter. Even though my content was more focused towards North America and North American viewers, my discovery that was getting out there was getting confused with the region from where I was posting from. Now, I worked really hard at it. And, I busted my ass trying to post content whenever I'd visit back home, down here in Texas, or whether I was up in Canada, I'd try and get as many pictures, or I get my friends to take as many pictures of my cars as possible. So that way I had fresh content to post. So the one thing about the infamous project, I posted the cars, posted the trucks, posted some of my bikes. I even posted the Ferrari that I had. Interestingly enough, the Ferrari always got the least amount of likes. Why is that? Well, this is the first thing that I learned. I learned that you need to be consistent. Whatever it is that you have, whether it's just one car, one truck, one bike, whatever it is, people that are liking that vehicle that you have or that item are most likely going to try or want to follow you specifically for that reason. And I did a test. That's why I started the account for this guy and the account for that guy. So at the time, I think I had maybe 5,000 followers for the infamous project, and my content was diluted across all of my different vehicles. A lot that aren't here because some of these are recent acquisitions, but you get my point. So I decided to go ahead and start an account for this guy individually and only post pictures of this car. Well, this account grew to about 3,000 followers in no time. I was getting like after like after like and follower after follower after follower. And similarly with the red strawberry hatch here behind me, same thing. Grew this guy, maybe it's a couple thousand. I didn't really monitor or keep up with the accounts too much. I was really just trying to play with people's, I guess, trends and behaviors in terms of why they're following you. So there you guys go. One thing that you need to know is that if you got just that one vehicle or it's yourself that you're posting, stay true to that and keep that consistent, because that's what will keep the same type of people that share the same interests. And it might be as simple as anybody with a silver Mustang or silver notch or whatever, they will follow you. So there's number one. So number two, think about the bigger guys that always post random different type of stuff all the time. Well, their brand is most likely the reason of that. And their brand, it's not so much about the content, but the people are like, oh, okay, I'm gonna like whatever they post because they're badass or they're cool. So it really doesn't matter as much in terms of what they're posting, right? So ultimately what I wanted to achieve with the infamous project, but I was struggling. I was sitting, somewhere, where was I? I was about 7,000 followers, somewhere around there before I was deciding to leave Dubai and come back to North America. So came back to North America. I immersed myself, as you guys know, dropping 2 videos a week on YouTube, constantly posting on Instagram and good content. At least I thought it was good content. And the number of likes that I was getting dropped substantially. When I left Dubai, I was, probably 600 to 800 on average, somewhere around there. Some pictures obviously a lot more, some a little less, but the average, I was finally doing really well and getting some good traction with my around 7,000 follower mark. Moved back to Canada, and man, I tell you, I was posting good pictures. I was getting a couple hundred. And when you go into the insights of Instagram, you can actually see how many people are liking your pictures that are following you versus how many were discovered outside of your follower base. And that was the problem. I wasn't getting any exposure outside from those that were already following me. So I even got a message from Instagram at one point that said, we're having a hard time establishing your location. Therefore you're not getting the exposure that you deserve. That's, it wasn't in those words, but that was pretty much what they were saying. They were like, we don't know where you are, what you're doing, but you should be doing better. Sorry. So I did some research online. They said, leave your location settings on as much as possible when you're posting. That way things will automatically start to normalize. They'll realize where my location is and where my target audience should be, and everything should be good. Well, I got back to North America a year ago, pretty much to this day when I would have started posting a lot of consistent and good content. So months and months and months were going by. Finally, with location settings, everything else on, it was pretty much 6 months later, I finally stopped seeing Dubai advertisements, because as we know, when we're scrolling through Instagram, we see a lot of ads. And I was finally starting to see local ads. I'm like, great, my pictures should start getting more likes. Well, to my surprise, they didn't. I did my top 9 for 2020. Every single picture from my top 9 was from before I left Dubai. So from June forward. You'd think that with your top 9, that more recent pictures with a greater following would have been pictures that were closer in your top 9, but not one at all. They were all pictures that were posted before I left. So here I was, trapped in a vortex, not getting the exposure that I was wanting, as here I am, trying to establish a brand, trying to potentially establish a good business, and no exposure. And I'm at the mercy of who? I reach out to Instagram, nobody wants to talk to you, or Facebook, whatever you want to call it. And it wasn't until February or March 2021, I get a new phone. Pop, same SIM card, everything, do a data transfer, put it in my new phone. All of a sudden, I start seeing more likes, more followers, and everything else. So something was going on with that phone, maybe the IMEI number, maybe just it was localized to the other side of the world for too long. I don't know what it was, but I put my old SIM card into that new phone, and things have started to go much, much better. So in the past couple of months, I've grown probably over 1,000, maybe 1,500 followers. I think by the end of July, I might even hit 10,000, which is going to be a great number. I can finally do swipe ups in my stories so that you guys can see my videos directly. But there you have it, guys. That's a little bit of the history on why I don't have as many followers as I would like. For those of you that don't really know me, maybe you're like, oh, this guy shouldn't have any followers at all. But I think with the amount of time that I've put in, the amount of content, everything else, there was definitely some hurdles that I had to face. And I tell you, I was almost ready to start a new Instagram account because I was like, I am not growing. Nobody outside of my following is following me. And, doing the right things, doing reels, doing stories, switching up the hashtags, getting shout outs, DMing other people or larger pages so that I can get some mentions. And I just was not growing until I changed my phone. So what did we learn here today? I think this is a really important part that, again, a couple documentaries have touched on things like this, is that when you are so dependent on social media, and this isn't about being dependent as a user and you're just spending too much time on it and doing nothing but playing on your phone. This is more about the businesses and what you're trying to accomplish, your marketing spend and everything else. Is that if you don't have all of the right ingredients to the recipe for today, and then aren't able to find out what ingredients you need for tomorrow because the recipe changed, you might have some battles and some hurdles to go through, much like I did. So there's the story on Instagram, guys. I don't know if you guys find that exciting or interesting or anything. My background is tech. I've done a lot in business analysis and a lot of data mining and everything else. So all these things are a little bit of interest to me. So I figured I would share those with you. The good news is, on the other hand, is that YouTube doesn't really seem to be fazed by where I was posting my videos from or what I'm doing. I think they just like to see consistent videos. In the beginning of 2021, something definitely changed. I know that there was a lot to do with taxes and registering tax numbers for anybody out there that's monetized. And I do feel like at the beginning of the year, I did have a couple dips in terms of my overall views. But again, it could be content. Same thing. The 1956 Corvette videos that I posted, not too many views. The 65 Lincoln that I just posted, not that many views. I do have a video on my Lightning that I will be releasing shortly. Who knows how many views that'll get. But at the end of the day, the people that are watching me, the consistent content is of course the Fox bodies. And that's what is generating my subscriber count. Now with enough time, maybe the Infamous Project as a brand will be known more widely than for the Fox bodies, but to be known as itself and whatever it is that I'm working on. Whether it's the Lightning, the SRT-10, the Lincoln, any of those things is not going to matter. People will just watch it for the sake of watching it. So we'll see where it goes. It's been over a year, and that was some very important information, at least that I found important. And it's important as a business or as an influencer or anybody that is relying on social media to be going into your insights and seeing where your audience is coming from, how are you getting your followers, your subscribers, all of those things, and use that information. And it could change month to month, week to week, day to day, but it's important to be aware of it. Some of it's not going to be in your control, much like my Instagram issue with my phone and my location. But some of it you can absolutely switch up. You know, I know the demographic that's following the Fox bodies for the most part, so it's important to try to appeal to that audience. You know, I might not know so much about maybe even the SRT-10. I don't know what the Dodge guys are like. I just love that truck and choose to own it. And you know what? I have a video on it on why I don't drive it that I did in Dubai. That video actually did really good. It started getting picked up and being put into the feature videos, the recommended videos, sorry, from a couple other SRT-10 videos that were out there. And that one worked out really well for me. So there you go, guys. Again, thank you for following along. Thank you for subscribing. And if you've watched this long, then clearly you've had some interest in the video. So I really appreciate that. If you guys have any feedback, any comments, any suggestions on what you think can help grow the channel, or just general feedback, maybe you think I'm crazy based on the findings and the data that I've seen, or maybe there was an easier solution than what I had to go through that I just wasn't aware of. And, you know, I felt like I did as much research and outreach as I could to try and rectify the problem. But that is one thing that I think is really, really important, is that to a certain degree, we are not in control. We could do everything perfectly. And again, if they change that recipe, that algorithm, maybe we'll get 0 views, 0 followers, 0 engagement, and we're going to have to find another way, which is fine. I don't mind. Go to some car shows, meet some people out on the street, and go from there the old-fashioned way, which is fine. And wouldn't have to worry about putting all this content together all the time and editing and everything else. But anyways, I could ramble on for hours. So I'm going to stop this video here and just say thank you once again. And we'll see you guys next time with some more Fox body content. I assure you that.